it allowed, when he came out just a bit, he came off his line maybe 2-3 yards, it opened the whole right side of the goal. And right there is where Kralak put the ball. I think he's done that a few times where he ends up protecting one post over the other and a goal sneaks in. And I think this was a really good example of where, Bobby just overplayed and it didn't quite work. The reality is, though, had Omsberg pressured Kralak, had Boxall not even given it up in the first place, so poorly, had Bob had a better line, he may not have gotten beat. So there are a lot of things that led up to it. But in the end, that's what a goalie is, right? He's the guy that's supposed to be the last stop. And I think had he positioned himself a little bit better, we might not have allowed that goal. We had another situation, a few situations. In the 12th minute, Omsberg again failed to provide pressure to Kralak. And again, almost had another goal. Literally a minute later, Rusnak was allowed like acres of space by Brent and almost made it 2 again. Then we had the 28th minute where, again, Kalman, he just did not seem like he was in the game. He dispossessed really well, but he didn't raise his head up at all, and he passed it directly back to RSL. And for me, I was like, okay, you just dispossessed. Boxall was in the area. So for me, I was like, you don't need to rush this. You should be able to look up and say, okay, where can I pass? At least a split second. He never even lifted his head up, and it ended up being a cheap giveaway, and that almost led to another good opportunity. And then, literally a minute later, then we had Max, who was dispossessed in the midfield, and Rusnak made a really nice run into the box. Backline couldn't contain him. Kalman failed to pressure him at all. He had a really nice shot off, but it went over the bar. So he got saved again. It's one of these things where you just see these odd mental lapses. Sorry, I just had to point out Kirk Cousins made the weirdest pass.
It was to nobody.
It wasn't even within 20 yards of a Packer. That's bad.
It was very bad.
Anyway.
We both hesitated there. We're like... Anyway.
So, we of course had our first nice chance, 67th minute. Miguel, it was a great pass up to Darwin along the left side. Darwin brought it into the box. Perfect. I don't know if it's supposed to be a shot or if it was a pass.
It looked like a pass when I watched the highlights. It did look like a pass.
And Miguel almost put it on goal. Almost. It was so close. Mm-hmm. It was one of those sitters that probably should have put it in. But.
Got excited?
Yeah.
And didn't.
It is what it is with us. Right?
Yep.
And so then finally, the 83rd minute, we did get our goal, which was huge because it's an away point at this point. It was a really great pass from Darwin, really nice chip from Miguel Ibarra, and so that was a really important goal right there. But controversy always, right?
Yep. With us and that VAR.
Yeah, and it was fitting that it happened against Salt Lake because Salt Lake, when they came here, they managed to have a similar situation against them. It resulted in fines for the team, resulted in fines for the manager. It's just so annoying that we don't have communication on VAR. Because the reality is no one's entirely sure what happened. I mean, everyone's assuming there was a situation where Darwin was offside. He came back into an onside position. Everyone's assuming it's that. The problem is, though, is the only way he's offside is if Maximiano makes contact with the ball after that whole situation happened. There's no definitive evidence from video replay that he actually made contact with the ball. On top of that, there's no definitive evidence from video replay that Darwin Quintero was even offside. So here we are with a perfect sequence. Miguel had a fantastic shot. I mean, really great
that
shot.
angle was amazing.
And I mean, I was at my neighbor's. He was nice enough to turn on the TV and turn the game on. And he's not a big soccer guy at all. He's been to a couple games. But that goal caught his attention.
Yeah.
And, I mean, it was a fantastic goal. And the reality is, VAR is supposed to be clear and obvious to overturn. It wasn't there. There's no clear and obvious. What's even better is the head ref had his linesman looking over his shoulder, talking to him about this. Okay, if it takes two of you, plus the VAR ref, or whatever they call it, VAR official, that's not clear and obvious.
Yeah.
The goal should have been allowed, and we should be given an explanation on the field of what's going on.
It's just like that game at home where there were 20-some thousand of us saying, what just happened? Yeah. Explain it to us. I mean, just like in the NFL, it has to be conclusive or whatever, inconclusive, whatever, or it stays.
And and the reality is look, you're already wasting our time with the VAR. So just tell us. Mm-hmm. Waste the extra 10 seconds and tell us. It's really that simple. I just think that they need to have some discussions in the offseason about this, and hopefully they do.
That means the head officials are going to have to get a mic hooked up to just like the NFL refs do, or let the announcer say something. But yeah, we need to know. As paying fans, we need to know.
Yeah.
See how it works over in the EPL now that they're starting it up.
Yeah, exactly. I think they should just mic up the ref at all times. So we just hear it. We just hear what he says. We hear what the players say to him, because I think that'd be awesome. Because I'm sure they'd have to believe everything.
They would have to, for the youngins.
But, it's just, it's one of those things where, we need an explanation. Really do. And that was a win, right? If we win this, we all of a sudden have 4 points on this road stretch. And I would have been much closer to being correct, because I said we were going to get 7 points. Which, considering how well we played in DC, considering we had a win at RSL taken away from us, I would have been right. But that's the way it goes. Some stats for this game. We had shots 13-7 for RSL. Shots on goal were 3-2. So it was much more even. Possession was almost identical. 61-39 this time. We had 82% passing. Reality is, though, with that passing, and in fact, I didn't even mention this with the DC game, is the great thing about MLS's maps is you can select the whole team. You can select passing, successful passes, and you can see all of on this map on the field. You can see all the passes. And the reality is, all our passes were basically 30 feet or 30 yards out, back and forth, side to side. Not really any legitimate movement that's going to be pushed off pass interference offense. And it, so 82% passing. We didn't really do anything with that passing. It's a nice catch, though.
His foot's not down.
Let's see. duels 46-33. So again, just like DC, they just have fewer. We had even fewer. You're not going to have good possession if you're losing out every single time you have a 1-on-1. It's just, man, that's a really good pass or catch. And so then, again, I'd say Bob and Max did their job. You look at the map, and look. I mean, they're doing what they have to do. The center of the field,
what they brought,
was taken care of very well, and it worked. I think they're doing what they need to do.
That's why they brought them in.
Yeah. My unpopular opinion for the podcast is that we need to move on from Abu Danladi. I get it. Maybe he will be something someday. I just don't think we should be taking our chances with it. I mean, he's constantly injured. And now he's become a liability because I still have no idea of why Angelo Rodriguez was not with us in Salt Lake City. He was not on the injury report. I checked multiple news sources, couldn't find any information. So why ever he wasn't, I don't know. But the reality is, he cannot stay healthy, and he's a liability at this point. I think we need to cut our losses and move on. If he becomes good with someone else, so what? I mean,
that's what we're used to in this town.
It's true. It's true. So that's my unpopular opinion. Reality, quick takes from that game. We had some stretches of ineptitude, mostly on defense. I kind of alluded to them with the, again, lack of pressure, just not really seeming like we're doing what we need to be doing. Obviously, this game was really weird because we had 4 center backs in the back line, 2 playing left and right back. So that made things a little weird. Obviously, Calvo has played left back more often than Boxall has played right back. So that probably didn't help things. That's kind of the reality of the game, though. I think Brent and Wyatt both failed to really provide any adequate pressure on the ball. I thought Romario and Miguel were really great. They provided some fantastic pace on the wings. I think we need to make sure that both of them are on the field at the exact same time. If that means we have to play that same back line here on out, I think that's what we got to do.
Got nothing to lose at this time.
Yeah.
Just try it, or even new. But what else can you try new? He doesn't have... No, I mean, they still want to win, obviously, so maybe you don't want to try things new if things are working.
Right. I think the nice thing is making a tactical change like that. I don't think you're harming too much, right? I mean, I don't think you're making it. I don't think you're sending a message that, well, the season's over. We don't really care anymore. I think Boxall and Calvo are capable fullbacks if they have to be. It's not great. I mean, I wouldn't put them against, Atlanta or NYCFC or LA. Either LA's probably. But I think that they're capable, and if that means that you can make that decision and get your best players in midfield on the field at the same time, I think that's a good thing. Again, Darwin continued to obviously provide that leadership and spark that we needed. I don't think it was a very good game for him, quite honestly, but he was solid. He made his presence known. And then, that's point is point. We got a road point. We now have 4 points on the road. Wait. We won. I think we had 5 points on the road.
We did win.
Yeah, because we
on.
won against Orlando, and then we tied against Galaxy and tied against Salt Lake. So 5 points on the road. So
Beats last year.
it's not great, but it's